Everybody from the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground in Roadtown, Dominica. Happy to be with you today, kicking off action in Group E of the Concacaf World Cup qualifying second round. It's the British Virgin Islands taking on Guatemala. 87 degrees here in Dominica, just a few minutes away from kickoff, 11-mile-per-hour winds. We do hope that Mother Nature holds off today. Jam-packed day of action, not a better place to kick things off in a group where it's very tight, especially at the top. Remember, only the top two places advance to the next round. A win for Guatemala would put them in pole position to advance. And of course, the British Virgin Islands just joining the party, their first game in the second round after they conquered the U.S. Virgin Islands on penalties to advance to Group E in this group stage. Second all-time meeting between these two countries. The first came back during 2022 World Cup qualifying, March 27th of 2021 to be exact. Guatemala were 3-0 winners. The two sets of teams are entering the field of play, and we're excited to see how the rematch in the 2026 Road to the World Cup will play out. Again, a win for Guatemala puts them in very good position to advance to the final round of qualifying. Our first time seeing the British Virgin Islands in this group, and we'll see if they could get some points on the board. If they do, they will certainly be in the mix as well. We'll step aside. We'll see the lineups in just a moment, but first, the anthems for both countries.
Viento tu hermosa bandera, a vencer o a morir llamará, de tu pueblo con ánimas fiera, antes muerto que esclavo será. Vamos gente, vamos gente, vamos gente, vamos gente.
The two teams exchange pleasantries here in Dominica, moments away from kickoff on the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This is second round of Concacaf World Cup qualifying in Group E. Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew, thrilled to have you with us. And we're excited to see how this one plays out. Let's begin with going through the starting lineups for both teams. We begin with the British Virgin Islands, and of course, Kevon Cesar leads the back line, captains the side as well. You look in that midfield, Tashawn Callamore is going to be one of the key cogs. Of course, that midfield group is going to look to feed Tyler Forbes, who is going to lead the line in the attack, wearing the number 9 shirt today. Our officials today, representing Trinidad and Tobago, are led by Quincy Williams, who will be our head official in the center. Cesar, who captains the British Virgin Islands, meets with Jose Pinto, who will captain Guatemala this afternoon in Dominica. Again, we talked about it earlier. These two teams met just over 3 years ago on the road to Qatar 2022. Guatemala got the win. They'll hope to do so again today, and this is the lineup that they bring out. We'll start at the back with Nicolas Hagen, who plays for Columbus Crew in MLS. He is between the sticks. Pinto leads the back line, along with Ruiz and Samayoa. And of course, the likes of Alejandro Galindo in the midfield. It's a really good attacking to Rubio Rubin and Nathaniel Mendez Lang, looking to score the goals for Luis Tena's side. Guatemala are in their blues with the light blue sash across the front, and the British Virgin Islands are in their home yellows as the de facto home side for this Group E tilt. Again, the British Virgin Islands had to get through the first round of qualifying to get to this group stage. They're hoping to carry that momentum after they took care of the U.S. Virgin Islands on penalties after it finished level over 2 legs. Guatemala had no such trouble on match day 1 in this second round of group stage qualifying. They took down Dominica by 6 goals to 0. Of course, Luis Tena always has high expectations for his side. He'll be looking for something similar today. It was 3-0 to Guatemala when the sides last met. They have not met since. So this is the rematch from that prior World Cup qualifying meeting in March of 2021. Some of the faces are very similar for both sides, particularly for Guatemala, who have really shined in these last few international windows, continuing to improve, and they'd love nothing more than to make some history and get all the way to the big show, to the World Cup itself. All that stands between us and kicking things off is the sound of Quincy Williams' whistle. British Virgin Islands will be going from left to right. And off we go from Roadtown, Dominica. This Group E tilt, second round of World Cup qualifying is off and running. Second all-time meeting between these two countries. Guatemala with a win would put themselves in pole position to advance to the final round of World Cup qualifying. British Virgin Islands just getting their feet wet in the second round. Any result for them keeps them very much in the mix. Time is, of course, of the essence in this group because, of course, we will see Jamaica play Dominica tomorrow. A win for the Reggae Boys, coupled with a win for Guatemala, will put those two countries in very, very strong position in the group. Only the top 2 teams advance in each group to the final round. And that's why this match today means so much for both teams involved. And it begins a jam-packed day of action throughout all of Concacaf World Cup qualifying. That's going to be a free kick. It allows the British Virgin Islands to reset things in their own half. Again, we talked about the first round for the British Virgin Islands. Again, it finished 1-1 on aggregate. Hugo Costa Liziario scored over the 2 legs, but it came down to a penalty kick shootout, one that saw 3 consecutive misses between the 2 sides. In the end, the British Virgin Islands winning 4-2 on spot kicks to get into this group stage. And again, Guatemala half a dozen against Dominica on match day 1. That has them at the top of the group on goal differential, just ahead of the Reggae Boys. Goals from the likes of Yanez, Martinez, Rubin, and Galindo, all helping out the cause. Ball's played out wide by Santis. Santis was trying to get the ball back, but it's a rash challenge, and a yellow card comes out for Luca Chalwell. One of those where Chalwell had already committed after the ball had been released. And the referee didn't have much of a choice here. Another look at it. Touched away. Chalwell already committed, and he follows through on Jose Morales. Sets up a promising set-piece opportunity here for Guatemala. It's going to be bent into the middle, right at the goalkeeper who punches. And then there was a little bit of miscommunication between Rubin and Morales. That sees the ball get cleared upfield. And in the end, the British Virgin Islands do enough. Frankie Beckles, who's between the posts today for the British Virgin Islands, was able to deal with it and get it far enough away from goal that Guatemala couldn't get a quick rebound. And now Santis looks to get to the byline. Did it take a deflection? The answer is no. It's a goal kick. Well, Chris Kiwomia's side, the British Virgin Islands, they're going to be under some pressure. There's no question about that in this game. Guatemala are not going to keep their foot off the gas. It's how they handle those moments that'll determine whether or not they're able to stay in the game long term. Ball is up ahead towards the aforementioned Galindo. He loses out. Ardon down this near side. Mendez Lang is covered. It's good pressure here from the British Virgin Islands, and they win the ball back here on this near side. Tyler Forbes. That's it deflected. It's a chance to reset for Gallimore and company. You wonder, in those transitional moments, can the British Virgin Islands take advantage when they get the ball on the break? That ball is bent towards the penalty area. Too close to Nicolas Hagen. Very experienced goalkeeper for Guatemala. Castellanos to the far side. Morales lost out, but the ball that's flared down the far side is going to see Guatemala regain possession. I think it bent out of play. And again, both of these countries have never made it to the World Cup. Of course, the British Virgin Islands have also never made it to a Gold Cup either. That's what we've seen from them in the Nations League. That's what has some people very encouraged on what this team can do moving forward. So coming together, and Forbes is brought down. That's going to be a free kick for the hosts here. Could put the British Virgin Islands in a pretty promising position if they can get some good service inside the penalty area. Just to finish the point, couple of opportunities potentially on hand here as, well, the challenge came in from Samayoa, but didn't get enough of the ball. 2019-2020 Nations League, they had 4 defeats, but since then, they've been able to take points from 5 of their 8 results in the Nations League, including a win and 4 draws. From the free kick, Hagen called into action. It's an overhead kick, and then Hagen is able to get back onto the scene in time. At the end of the sequence, it looks like it's going to be a free kick. Looked like initially that Taylor Scarf was closest to it. Hagen bumped and bruised a couple of times in the mixer. And there is a stoppage because there is a player down at the end after the dust settled. We'll begin again with a drop ball, and Guatemala has it back in possession. Ball's played onto the near side. Ardone couldn't keep it in play. We'll go back to the British Virgin Islands. Morales out to the far side. 10 minutes in, and there's been a couple of half chances for both teams. Mendez Lang through the middle. Lovely little give and go. It's an opportunity for Ardone. Bending it into the middle, it's headed down. Good save. Chance for the rebound. It's cleared out for a corner. Now Frankie Beckles makes a huge save. Rubin was in the area for a rebound. And in the end. There was a critical clearance in there from Miguel Marshall to make sure there wasn't a follow-up. Ball is bent into the penalty area again, and Beckles makes the catch with Ardone bearing down on him. Here's the initial save. It was a free header for Oscar Santis. Good shielding by Jaden Abrams. And then Miguel Marshall clears it out. Another chance for Guatemala. It's flared down the far side. Rubin's in the middle. And the ball is skied on the cross over the top. It's a goal kick. As Santis tried to find one of the two Guatemalan strikers in the penalty area. Well, Beckles already called into action in these early stages. As we expected, Guatemala tend to get off to fast starts in these games. We saw it, of course, take place pretty quickly against Dominica on match day 1 in the group. And as Lang a push and a chase. He's dispossessed, but then follows up, gets the ball back. Galindo. And Lang is blocked, but then he follows up and forces another save out of Beckles down to his right. Now Mendez Lang just fought his way through, found space, and nearly snuck it past. Another look, it was good initial defending from Gallimore, but then Mendez Lang follows up. Decent effort. Beckles equal to it. That's a giveaway. Mendez Lang on the turn. The British Virgin Islands are going to reset possession. Birdie did well there in the middle. The service up ahead. It's going to see Guatemala be able to keep it in play. A little bit of high grass in some of these areas is slowing the ball down a little bit. Taking the sting out of some of the passing. Pinto for Morales. Rubin ran towards it. Scarf got a head on it for the British Virgin Islands. And they will get a throw-in on the far side as well. Another giveaway here. Mendez Lang on the scene. And that hits the referee as he tried to pass it out wide. Guatemala will get a jump, I should say, beg your pardon, a drop ball to reset the play. Ardone. It's set up nicely for him. He took on the strike, blocked away. Franco looks to follow up, and he recycles the possession here. Franco bends it in. Rubin's on the end of it, but can't redirect it on target. He appreciates the service. It was nearly in a perfect position for him to pounce, but didn't have enough contact on it in the end. Chris Kawomia and the British Virgin Islands, so far so good defensively. They've been fending off these different waves of Guatemalan attacks. And did create a chance or two themselves, a half chance albeit, but a chance nonetheless at the other end. Set pieces could certainly be a big factor in this match, especially if it stays even. Gallimore up ahead. Morales down the far side. Mendez-Lang switching sides. Striding ahead. And getting it back from Rubin! And then it's a wonderful save again by Beckles. How good has he been so far? Wonderful build-up between Mendez-Lang and Rubin. Beckles again stands up to it, and it's out for a corner. Just a delightful little give and go, but just a better save from Beckles. Got there quickly enough. From the corner, it's headed out of play. It does look like it came off the head of a British Virgin Islands defender. Take two on the corner upcoming. Ball is bent in a second time. It was headed down. Handball appeals come in. Mendez-Lang strikes. Scarf blocks it. It's headed down again. Kept alive for Mendez-Lang again, and it's blocked once more. Morales skies it. And after another wave of Guatemalan attacks, the British Virgin Islands are left unscathed. How many opportunities did Mendez-Lang have in just this one sequence? Great save there from Beckles, wonderfully done. After a delicious give and go. And then Guatemala had two, maybe three follow-up chances from two corners and could not breach the net. Haven't played 20 minutes yet, but that's critical defending there. And the British Virgin Islands on multiple occasions to keep it level. Ardone. Down this near side, a good step defensively by Justin Smith. In by Santis. To nobody in particular, it's a goal kick. Of course, this game kicks off a full day of action around Concacaf World Cup qualifying. About 20 minutes in here at the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground in Roadtown, British Virgin Islands. Anguilla and Suriname kick off in about 10 minutes' time. From the Valley in Anguilla. Here's Mendez-Lang again. That took a couple deflections on his cross into the middle. But again, the British Virgin Islands are able to clear it. Ardone. Franco. Mendez-Lang continues to be a strong outlet for Guatemala. On the far side, he wins a throw. Samayoa. Thought about going to this near side, thought better of it. Plays in Pinto. Bent in by Mendez-Lang, headed by Abrams, out for a corner. Another opportunity. Another header. Another save by Beckles. Well, the British Virgin Islands have needed him very, very badly these last 10, 15 minutes, and he has stood tall in that goal. Another corner opportunity. This time Rubin's header is blocked. Morales trying to get it back to him. And then Morales is penalized. It's a foul and a free kick. It allows the British Virgin Islands to reset. And that's going to be key moving forward. British Virgin Islands are able to hold off these kind of occasions. It was Ardone's header. Another brilliant save from Beckles. But if they can't get some possession in the midfield, the hosts are going to be under wave after wave of attack as this half moves along. And Guatemala certainly are capable of wearing teams down with strong attacking play. We've seen that with their recent Gold Cup run where they got to the quarterfinals, and of course they've been great at times in Concacaf Nations League play. Santis. Morales into the middle, took a deflection, falls for a chance, oh my word! A wonderful volley sees Guatemala take the lead. Oscar Castellanos with a corker of a finish. It took them 23 minutes, but Guatemala have the lead. Now, one of the Guatemalan national team nicknames is Blue Fury. That was a ferocious strike. And Castellanos gets Guatemala a goal to the good. Worth another look. It is nearly perfect technique. Not the best of clearances. Leads to one of the best volleys. You'll see. Wonderful goal. And a wonderful moment for Oscar Castellanos. And it leads us to a first half cooling break here in the British Virgin Islands. Now again, we talked about it. It was coming for Guatemala. What made it tough for the British Virgin Islands is, despite some great defending, at times heroic defending, most notably from Frankie Beckles in goal, the tough part about that is if you can't couple it with some possession and enough moments of reprieve, pressuring team is going to keep on coming, and it's only a matter of time. Well, that man has provided a moment of real class and quality. And for those that have watched from the first minute, of course, you've seen the quality that Frankie Beckles has between the sticks. It needed to be a high-quality finish to beat him, and that's exactly what Oscar Castellanos has come up with here for Luis Tena's group. Maybe a chance for the British Virgin Islands to use that cooling break to regroup. Now trailing by a goal. They will have to do some chasing of this game, and how they handle that could determine if they're able to get back into the game. But the persistence has paid off for the visitors. Castellanos converts a wonderful volley, and Guatemala jumps out in front. Guatemala will switch the point of attack. Mendez Lang keeps the ball in play. Crosses it into the middle. It's going to be headed out of play by the captain, Cesar. And it will be another Guatemala corner upcoming. 25 minutes and change into this one. Guatemala have outscored opponents so far in these qualifiers, 7-0 to this point. I'm sure that'll change, but they're off to the perfect start. here in Group E. Looking to improve on that here from a set piece. It's up for grabs in the penalty area. It's headed back out. Another volleyed attempt. This time from Oscar Santis, and it's floated over the top and out. Referee has a word here with Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. I think that was over maybe the positioning of one of his pieces of equipment. Not sure if it was the boot or a shin guard. Same thing has been told to one of the British Virgin Island players, I believe, as well. Again, more pressure from Guatemala here. It's going to lead to a takeaway. Mendez-Lang does well. Morales. Bent in by Mendez-Lang. It's Rubio Rubin. And there's two players on him. He's not able to squeeze past. And Guatemala will settle for a throw. Samayoa. This time he does find Santis. Santis trying to bend one into the penalty area, but he follows up nicely. Well closed down by Smith. And Guatemala keep piling up the corner kick opportunities. They have one this time on the near side. The near post. It is dealt with at the expense of a throw. Santis gets it right back. Bends it into the middle. Oh, and it's nearly bent in by Alejandro Galindo. Trying to add on to his goal-scoring tally. Was not far away at all. And it's out for a goal kick in the end. I think Beckles may very well have been beaten there if it was going to be on target, but it was over and out. More lovely play from Guatemala here. It's well struck. Again, if it's on target, Beckles would have had a lot of stretching to do to get to that. Maybe he would have had it covered, but the pace still had a chance to beat him if it was on frame. Good effort from Galindo, to say the least. Just couldn't quite keep it down. Rubin, the target. He commits a foul, and it's a free kick. Now, we talked about the British Virgin Islands and their recent success, possibilities of turning a corner, especially in the Nations League. But Guatemala have been able to do it on multiple fronts. That's what's been really impressive recently. Under Luis Tena, made the quarterfinals at the Gold Cup in 2023, of course. Of course, back-to-back promotions in the Nations League, 2019-2020, 2022-2023 as well. Saw them had a chance to make the finals last time around. Did get a win and a draw, but 2 defeats led them to missing out on making the Concacaf Nations League finals, but they do stay in League A, and they'll get another shot at it during the 2024-2025 campaign. Maybe a high elbow there on the replay. Luca Chalwell, who is already on a yellow card, mind you. Has to be careful in moments like that. Went up with it along with Jose Morales. Two teams at maybe different points in that development cycle, but Guatemala have made some wonderful strides, and they have a chance to double their lead here through Rubin. But he's beaten to it by Beckles, who continues to have a brilliant first half for the British Virgin Islands. Mendez Lang. Able to win it back, Samayoa. Ardone. Another chance for a shot. It's followed up on. And Franco didn't make up his mind quickly enough inside the penalty area. Galindo for the arriving Morales cut out. And Chalwell, he's able to do very well for the British Virgin Islands. He wins a throw. There's another look at the chance for Rubin. It was well read by Beckles and needed to be if he didn't get there in time. Guatemala very likely gets a chance to double their advantage there. Gallimore able to play a nice ball over to this near side, and Justin Smith sends it ahead. Guatemala get the possession back. That's just been the tough part for the British Virgin Islands. Once they get the ball cleared, they're not able to keep it for a very long period of time, and that's allowed Guatemala to rev up more and more attacks. And constantly putting the hosts under pressure. Mendez Lang tries to stride ahead. He has his pocket picked here. Can the British Virgin Islands respond up the other end? They're gonna get a free kick. Certainly a tactical foul there from Pinto on Luca Chalwell. The one time that the British Virgin Islands have put Guatemala under pressure came from a set-piece opportunity. Clearly, Pinto knew what he was doing there. Clear foul. Wouldn't be too surprised if the referee books him there, although I don't think a yellow card has come out. The British Virgin Islands were trying to gain some real estate for their free kick. It was just inside the Guatemalan half. This ball is going to be sent towards the edge of the penalty area. Scarf just about got a head onto that. But Guatemala comes out with possession through Santis. Galindo dispossessed. But Galindo wins the ball right back for Guatemala. That repress that Guatemala's put on has been a big key to their first half success. Even when they lose the ball, they're able to win it back quickly. With 10 minutes left in the half, it's helped them hold on to this one-goal advantage and look to build towards a second. Mendez Lang over the top. Scarf gets the head onto it. Chalwell does really well again. Able to find an outlet. It's sent forward, looking for Tyler Forbes, who was well marked. Galindo out wide. First time ball from Morales up into the air. Santis was close to it. Morales follows up and gets to it. Into the middle it goes. Scarf is there, but it's quickly retrieved by Franco. Mendez Lang into the middle. too close to Beckles. More promising build-up, but more defending for his guys to have to do. Still a lot of time left in the half, but you do feel that if the British Virgin Islands can hold it here, they'll have a puncher's chance in the second half. One goal in it. You never quite know what can happen. Of course, Guatemala will not be satisfied with just that. Mendez Lang up ahead. Galindo for Rubin, who rounds the goalkeeper, and it has it blocked by Scarf. Well, the angle was against Rubin there, to be fair, but he was not able to score after he rounded the goalkeeper. More solid last-ditch defending from the hosts. Here's Castellanos. He doesn't get there in time. Abrams clears. Another look. Gorgeous ball up ahead. Rubin gets the first touch. Scarf does not give up on the play. Brave defending. And keeps the ball out. Mendez Lang for Ardone. It's poked out for a throw into Guatemala. From the throw, Mendez Lang has it. Loves to go one-on-one. Can he pick out a pass? He's gonna bend it towards goal. Beckles is able to parry it out of danger. Chalwell just about gets past a couple of defenders. Gallimore, however, gives the ball away. Santis fighting for every loose ball, and he's able to get a throw in again for Guatemala. Great extra effort. Ardone. Mendez Lang. Franco. Goal scorer, Castellanos out wide. Morales. At 2 to aim at in the penalty area. Galindo and Rubin. It goes out of play. Now one more look at this opportunity. Rubin gets past Beckles. Critical lunge there from Taylor Scarf. You never know in a game like this with it still being, I should say, a slim margin. All of these critical defensive interventions that the British Virgin Islands have come up with in this first half have been what have kept them hanging around in this game. It's taken a moment of real top-class finishing from Oscar Castellanos to break the deadlock. That's the difference right now. A tremendously taken volley. More Guatemala pressure with 5 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half here in Road Town. Oh, that's some lovely skill there. Gallimore plays it up ahead. But Smith is stopped, and Mendez Lang has it back for Guatemala. Lovely step over into space. Good follow-up and good recovery from Justin Smith to make sure nothing came of it on that occasion. Even those brief moments, however, when the British Virgin Islands try to work their way forward, Guatemala have the answers. They've been putting in that hard work. It's yielded them one. Can they get a second before halftime? That could really put them in charge. And of course, it wouldn't just be in charge in the game. potentially also in charge in the group. Rubin again is the target. Scarf got his header on it as well. Beckles was able to react. Those are moments when it can be awkward for a goalkeeper, but Frankie Beckles has been in tremendous form in this first half. He had no trouble with it. Beckles up ahead. They've been trying to get Tyler Forbes involved, but he's been well covered. Lovely skill on the far side, keeps this move going for Guatemala. Galindo back onto the far side. Santis is onside here. Into the middle, it takes a ricochet. Scarf again gets in the way at the expense of a Guatemalan corner upcoming. Critical moments here late in the first half. Santis bends it in. It's headed to the edge of the penalty area, cleared by Forbes. Only as far as the goal scorer, Castellanos. Morales, you can see what he was trying to do. It finds its way out for a goal kick. There's been a few moments on that far side for Jose Morales to just bend the ball into the penalty area. Times he's been able to pick out good passes. Last few occasions hasn't quite gotten it right. It has allowed a few of these opportunities for Guatemala to fizzle out. Franco bends it for Mendez Lang, who's been an often used outlet. Certainly never afraid to take players on, Nathaniel Mendez Lang. That's for sure. Santis trying to get it back from Morales. Chalwell is there. It's going to be cleared, but only as far as Santis, who finds Castellanos. Up ahead by Franco, who was trying to get it to Santis. Good hustle. After he was involved in the build-up, he made a run into the penalty area to try to get on the end of that pass, but in the end, it was hit a little too strongly. Of course, that man, Rubin, and others have had close calls to increasing Guatemala's lead, but give credit to Beckles and the defensive setup. Scarf as well has been notable, along with Justin Smith in the first half for the British Virgin Islands on home soil. And now Tyler Forbes looks to create something up the other end. He bends the ball in. It could fall for a chance on the edge of the penalty area here. And in the end, not enough time for Birdie to get a shot away after the pass came in from Gallimore. It's bent back in. Forbes has it. Looks to return the pass. It's an opportunity here. And the spinning shot is blocked inside the 6-yard box by Samayoa. Well, the first half has been bookended by two big British Virgin Island opportunities. As we go into 4 added minutes, we can go back to what we said earlier with the fact that Guatemala have not yet increased the lead, leaving the door open here. The British Virgin Islands nearly took full advantage. Luca Chalwell had the big chance, but the spinning shot was parried away before it could get through to Hagen. Cesar on the throw. Headed away by Franco. Not cleared yet. It's curled back in. The header is saved by Hagen. Jerry Wiltshire nearly equalize for the British Virgin Islands. It's their best chance of the match so far. Another sign that the door is slightly ajar here. And again, it just further goes to show you how important these big defensive moments from the British Virgin Islands have been in this half. It's kept them in with a chance. And the longer it goes on, the more they can build in confidence. This ball is sprayed up ahead. Forbes is the target. It's well dealt with by Pinto, and he has help in the form of Ardone. Galindo. Can Guatemala squash the hope and confidence that the British Virgin Islands have just gained over the last couple of minutes here? 2 minutes of stoppage time left in the first half. Cross into the middle here. Rubin, the target, was cleared away by Abrams. And it's out for a throw. Well, another look here. Brilliant ball bent back in. And it's a decent header as well by Wiltshire. But Hagen, first time he's really been called upon, he's able to get down and had more than enough time to make the stop, to be fair. But big opportunity there. Mendez Lang curls the ball in, and it's another critical touch from Scarf. Cesar clears, but isn't able to get it to Forbes. Morales. Ardone! It's touched in! Rubio Rubin gives Guatemala a 2-0 lead with a very classy finish. And just when it looked like the British Virgin Islands had a chance to get some momentum before halftime, Guatemala double their advantage and lead by 2-0. He scored on match day 1. He's at it again. Rubio Rubin on match day 2. Ardone is onside, and it's a clever finish, falling backwards as he gets it from Rubio Rubin. Can't draw it up much better than that. It's a wonderful team goal from the Guatemalans. And it could be a goal that takes away the momentum from the hosts as we get to the halftime interval. Well, first things first, give a lot of credit to the British Virgin Islands. At times they were right there in that first half, defended valiantly in the first 45 minutes. However, 2 really well-taken goals from Guatemala have them in charge at the break. Castellanos in the 23rd, and then with one of the last kicks of the half, Rubio Rubin gives Guatemala a second. And at the half in Roadtown, it's the British Virgin Islands 0, and it's Guatemala 2. Moments away from the start of the second half. Sean St. Jacques back here with you. Road Town in the British Virgin Islands, the host for this one at the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground. Guatemala leading the hosts by 2-0. No changes for either side at the start of the second half. That'll see Guatemala kick things off and go from left to right. Goals from Rubin and Castellanos have the visitors ahead. And we will see if it'll be enough for all 3 points. Great defending at times from the British Virgin Islands in that first half. They did have a big moment in the attack as well. They were not able to take advantage. Now it does look like the British Virgin Islands are going to make a couple of changes here. Christian Javier and William Green are both going to come out onto the field of play. So a double swap for Chris Kawomya at the start of the second half. And Guatemala get the second half started here in Road Town. Mendez Lang not going to waste any time here for Guatemala, knowing that a third might be putting it beyond British Virgin Islands. And that ball that was played in hit an arm, and the referee points for a penalty here. Well, a few perplexed faces from the British Virgin Islands point of view. I think they're saying that the arm was tucked in. It's a yellow card for Jaden Abrams, and Guatemala will get a penalty just past the first minute at the start of the second half. Well, that's going to allow the captain for Guatemala, Jose Pinto, to give Guatemala a 3-0 lead that might be insurmountable in this second half. They scored at the very end of the first half. Jose Pinto is going to step up for Guatemala at the start of the second half, and he's going to score. Pinto pinpoint from the penalty spot, and Guatemala have a 3-0 lead. They've scored at either end of halftime, and they are in a commanding position at the start of the second half to get to the top of the group and have some goal difference to work with. Never any doubt from the captain. Pinto provides power right down the middle, and Beckles, who's been brilliant today, picked aside, and that's exactly what Pinto was hoping for. Now 3-0 does not tell the whole story, but Guatemala thoroughly deserve it. There's no question about that. They've had so many opportunities, and now they have 3 different goal scorers. This was the shot, by the way, from Mendez Lang. And it actually doesn't hit the arm that's tucked in. It hit the arm behind that. And the referee deemed that it was outstretched. And it's got to be in an unnatural position because it wasn't tucked in. I think that's why Quincy Williams pointed to the penalty spot there. Now then, another ball bent into the middle. That was a critical header. Stop it going to Rubin. Castellanos resets. Ardone back in. It's a free header. Good save by Beckles. I think it's a double save. thwarting Galindo. Well, Frankie Beckles just continues to shine for the British Virgin Islands in goal today. Another look, it's beautifully weighted from Ardone. Free header, Beckles knocked it down and then collects, with Galindo looking to follow up. And again, just to confirm, halftime changes for you. None for Guatemala. But for the British Virgin Islands, we showed you it briefly earlier. Christian Javier and William Green are on. Joshua Birdie and Justin Smith were the two that came out. So only the two British Virgin Islands changes at the break. But of course, the big change has been to the scoreline, thanks to Jose Pinto. Chalwell was trying to bend that in behind as we look at the penalty. And it's sometimes a guessing game for goalkeepers, and Beckles committed down to his right. But that's exactly what Jose Pinto was counting on. And he blasted it right down the middle to give Guatemala a commanding 3-0 lead. And now they're halfway to matching the half a dozen that they put up against Dominica in their first outing here in Group E. And of course, the top two that go through, it's never bad to have goal differential being in your favor. And at the moment, Guatemala have a +9 goal differential through 90 minutes and 50.5 minutes today. And again, if this result holds, it'll be a big opportunity for Jamaica tomorrow afternoon. They travel to play Dominica. And in the meantime, Rubin taps it in for a fourth, but the flag goes up and it will not count. Now Mendez Lang put it into the middle. Rubin convinced that he was onside. But his bid for a brace will have to wait. Have to wait and see if we get a definitive look at that. It was tough to tell from the live angle, of course. The assistant always has the best view. Straight down the line with the second to last defender. As the ball comes up the other end, Tyler Forbes, who's been working really hard, wins a free kick. Here's the look. I'll tell you what, from that angle, I think Rubio Rubin may have a case. Again, it's not definitive because we don't have VAR. However, from that angle, it does look like he may very well have been onside. Sometimes you see players have that reaction and you look at the replay and there's no case for it. Rubin definitely has a case. Look at the foul. Forbes brought down by Morales. Set piece opportunity here for the British Virgin Islands. They've been good on them today. Forbes bends it in. Scarf had a chance to head that on target. But a critical header came in from Samayoa to make sure that he did not get a touch on that. And the British Virgin Islands will win a corner here. Oh, right on cue, we talked about it. They have made life difficult at times for Guatemala with the few set pieces that they've been able to win. And it nearly led to a big opportunity at the back post. Forbes will take the corner. Just provided a great delivery a moment ago. He does so again here. Scarf has it. Turns and tries to get it on frame. Not quite able to do so. He just put it back into the mixer. Gallimore is going to shoot. And it wasn't a bad effort, but in the end it was nowhere near the target. And now Jose Pinto is down in a heap. In a bit of discomfort for the visitors. After again, great effort and fight from the British Virgin Islands to give Guatemala plenty to think about inside their own penalty area here. Of course, the concern, though, is now going to shift to Luis Tena and Guatemala coaching staff, who are, of course, going to be curious to see if their captain is okay. Of course, there are a few defensive replacements available for Guatemala, who have a full bench available. Kevin Ruiz and Alan Yanez, who scored against Dominica on match day 1, they're both available from a defensive standpoint, but there are others. Pedro Altan comes to mind. Carlos Mejia. Also potential players that could come in if need be. It doesn't look like it's going to come to that. Pinto wants to come back on. And we'll keep an eye on him as the match moves forward. Here's Ardone for Guatemala. He's going to get the ball back here from Santis. Into the middle it goes. It took a deflection. And Guatemala will have a corner on the far side. Jose Ardone has also been outstanding in this match so far for the visitors here. From the corner, he's going to be headed out of the penalty area, only as far as Mendez Lang. And it does come off of Forbes, it looked like. It's going to be a throw-in. Guatemala take it quickly. Into the middle it goes, and it's headed over the top by Galindo. And Rubin was hoping that he was going to let it fall for him, as he may have been in a better position, but the communication didn't quite come across. Quick thinking by Santis on that far side. British Virgin Islands were caught out. They weren't ready for that quick restart. But Galindo just couldn't put the opportunity on target. Beckles up ahead. Again, 3 different goal scorers for Guatemala. They scored in the 23rd minute and then on either side of halftime. Nice layoff here for Morales to run onto. Mendez Lang thought about it, but gets Pinto back involved, who's now obviously officially back on the pitch. Mendez Lang. Morales tried to get it back to him. It's a throw-in for the British Virgin Islands. Long throw over the top. Forbes is going to have a chance to chase it, but Samayoa is able to beat him to the spot. Can always be dangerous, even with a numbers advantage, if you let a ball like that drop. Tyler Forbes nearly took advantage of that. It's another opportunity here for the British Virgin Islands. When they've gotten it to this end of the pitch, they've looked dangerous. And they have forced a save out of Hagen in this game this afternoon. Cesar's been the long throw specialist, and he puts into the mixer here. Samayoa gets a boot onto it. It's allowed to fall here. edge of the penalty area. Gallimore resets. Gets it back via give and go. Pokes it onto this near side for Green. Gallimore. It's an incisive pass trying to find Wiltshire, but couldn't get it to him, and Guatemala can pounce at the other end. Santis gives the ball away. And then, offside flag stays down. Forbes gets it back, and then it's a shove in the back. Free kick for Guatemala. It looks like it'll lead to a substitution as we get towards the hour mark here. One of the players we mentioned earlier, Carlos Mejia, he's going to come on. And the race is run for Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. Plays for Derby County in the English Championship, 2nd Division. Certainly ran a good race for Guatemala today, made a big impact. His day is done. Carlos Mejia, who is certainly capable of scoring for Guatemala, but comes on as more of a defensive alteration. With 30 minutes to go, and Guatemala, at least for the time being, in command. That ball is flared over the top. Good central header. Scarf does well to recover and get something on it. Morales had 2 to aim at inside the 18-yard box there. Gallimore thought better of running ahead. Holds it up for Chalwell. Plays it ahead for Green. Was able to win the ball, but played it right into the path of Hagen. Gallimore, again trying to get it ahead to William Green, too far in front. That ball's poked ahead. Santis tries to curl a shot, and he ends up dragging it wide. I'm sure Luis Tena has been happy with his goal scorers today, but players like Oscar Santis and Jose Ardon, Alejandro Galindo, just to name a few, they've really played well in this game. Constantly a threat, creating chances. And they've been involved, both of them, in the goal scoring today. Did look like that Luis Tena was preparing a couple of players for potential alterations here. And of course, the scoreline very much is a repeated one between these two. The first and only other meeting finished Guatemala 3, British Virgin Islands 0 in 2021. We talked about it earlier, that road to Qatar. It's going to stay in here for Tyler Forbes. Forbes does really well here. Chance to shoot. And Hagen is there. You wonder if he maybe should have gone to the left side of the goal. Hagen left a little bit of that open. In the end, he drags it across after some great work. Tyler Forbes doing really well going alone there. Just didn't have enough venom on the finish. Free kick for Guatemala. player down for the British Virgin Islands, Miguel Marshall. Now both teams stirring as far as substitutions are concerned. We're told that Guatemala are getting 2 changes ready. We'll wait for confirmation on that. British Virgin Islands may also have to make an alteration or 2 here. Here come the Guatemalan changes. Pedro Altan is going to come on for Alejandro Galindo. And the second change, Oscar Santis, just talked about him. He's made a great impact. He will leave us. And one of the New England Revolution youngsters in MLS Next Pro, Ulcher Escobar, he's going to take his place. He certainly has a bright future ahead of him. He gets a cap for his country here today. So those changes have been completed, and Miguel Marshall is not going to be able to continue here for the British Virgin Islands. Kaija Williams is the man selected to come on and take his place. 25 minutes to go here in the British Virgin Islands. Guatemala have a free kick. Altan, his first involvement is to try to cross it into the middle, and he wins a corner. And of course, the good news for the British Virgin Islands, regardless of the result, is they do have one more game in this window. It's on Tuesday against the DR, the Dominican Republic, as this is bent in. Critical header. Beckles, I don't think, had it covered. Can the host break in the opposite direction here? Great pace from Javier. Tyler Forbes bends it in. Oh, and it was a good opportunity for Green. Critical touch from Mejia. Again, 3-0 has not told the full story. Guatemala certainly deserving, don't get me wrong there, but British Virgin Islands have had some really good opportunities when they've been able to get past Guatemala's midfield. That's been the key moment. Once they do that, they've been in business a few times, just haven't had their finishing touches. Mejia tried to find Rubin. It's gonna sit up nicely for Beckles. Guatemala had a 2-0 lead at the break. Castellanos and Rubin, 2 wonderful goals for Guatemala. Who was it last off of? He was appealing Tyler Forbes for a corner, and it appears that that has been the decision. So another chance from a set piece for the hosts here. Can Tyler Forbes pick out one of his teammates inside a congested 6-yard box? They're going to try to crash Hagen's goal here. That's where Forbes places it, and he's headed out of danger for now. Gallimore tried to get it back to Forbes, but he was in an offside position, and it's a goal kick. British Virgin Islands will go back to their bench here. Johari Lacey, he's going to come on. And that is going to be the end of the day for Tyler Forbes. Great effort from him, battling as that lone striker up top. A battle where he nearly won a few times. Give him credit. Guatemala, tough customers at the back, and Tyler Forbes Had a very strong performance. Just unlucky not to score. Had a really good moment. Got past a couple defenders and got a shot away, but it wasn't good enough to beat Hagen. Guatemala are getting 2 more changes ready. We'll get to that, well, in a moment, because that's a challenge that's come in from the substitute Javier. Free kick for Guatemala. Guatemala are asking for a yellow card. I think the referee's saying that's going to be the last warning there before any caution. Javier is a substitute, to be fair, in the first challenge he was involved in. And to be fair, and his studs may have scraped him, but from that angle, it didn't look like there was a ton of contact there. Enough contact, but maybe not enough for a yellow. Meanwhile, Marco Dominguez and Jose Martinez are the 2 Guatemalan players who are being ready to come on. Question is, will they come on before or after the free kick is taken here? Looks like it will be before. Jonathan Franco is the first player who will come off, allowing Marco Dominguez to come on. The second substitution that the 4th official put up was incorrect. That was a change that had already been made earlier. Looks like it is going to lead to a cooling break, but I don't think that second substitution has been officially made yet. Referee does have to put up the correct numbers before the player is allowed to come on. And now, the substitution is official. Rubio Rubin. Great performance from him. Had a goal, could have had a couple more. He comes off, and that'll allow Jose Martinez in a like-for-like swap in the attack to enter the field of play. And the cooling break comes with about 18 minutes plus stoppage time to go in a game that, frankly, Guatemala have certainly handled from the beginning. There's no question about that. Scored in the 23rd minute, Oscar Castellanos with a corker of a finish. And then, of course, the penalty from Pinto after a lovely team goal that saw Ardon find Rubin, who touched it in as he was falling backwards. Add it all up, and Guatemala have 3 goals and very likely 3 points. Looks like Escobar and Castellanos get the play back underway through a free kick. Escobar looks to get space for the shots. It was a blistering effort. And it goes past Beckles and out of play. Great effort from the youngster. Plays for New England Revolution 2 and MLS Next Pro. Nearly scored for his country. Another look. Immediately seeing the skill that Olger Escobar brings to the table. If that was on target, Beckles may very well have been beaten for pace there. Now then, Green up the other end. Stifled for the British Virgin Islands. That ball is played in behind. Martinez keeps the play alive. Mejia closed down. Morales keeps it alive, and then it's acrobatically cleared upfield. And as far as Samayoa. Castellanos over the top. Headed away by Abrams. Morales keeps it alive again. And it was recycled, but a free kick. We'll see Guatemala have another opportunity to provide penalty area service. "15 minutes plus stoppage time to go." We did talk about the British Virgin Islands playing on Tuesday. Guatemala does have an international friendly upcoming with Lionel Messi in Argentina, and I believe after that we won't see them until the early parts of the fall, September around then, when we get to Nations League play. However, it's nearly job done for this World Cup qualifying window for them. Scored 6 in the first match against Dominica, and they have 3 here today against the British Virgin Islands. I think Luis Tena will be more than happy with that. Of course, they still have to play the Dominican Republic and Jamaica, but of course there'll be time for that in the windows to come. Escobar again does brilliantly well. Well defended initially, but Castellanos picks up the pieces. Ardone. Mejia. Shot is going to come in. Dominguez blocked away. Mejia has it for Guatemala yet again here. Maybe one too many touches from Mejia. Gives the ball away, but Dominguez wins it right back. That's really been the story of the match. Guatemala's repressing ability has really helped them win the day in this Concacaf World Cup qualifier. Again, this is second round Group E on the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Escobar. He had his shirt pulled there. He was asking the referee for a foul. It didn't come. Castellanos has already scored a worldie already. Morales bends it in. Great touch from Mejia. Better stop by Beckles. Add it to the list. It's a nice ovation from the crowd here in Road Town. Frankie Beckles has been tremendous today. And this save has certainly been one of his best. Closes down the substitute Mejia and makes absolutely sure that nothing further would come afterwards. He's really shown well, Frankie Beckles, for British Virgin Islands today. Guatemala continuing their relentless pressure here. Gallimore loses out. Altan up ahead. Oh, you could see where he was aiming. Tried to play in Martinez. Too far in front, and Beckles is able to corral. Samayoa has time and space. Flares it out to the far side, Mejia. He's beaten to it, but it is going to go out for a corner as Williams couldn't keep it in play after getting there first. Again, the next game in this group is tomorrow, Dominica against Jamaica. The shot is fizzed in by Mejia, but it's going to go out of play. Jamaica will have a chance to match what Guatemala have done in these first two games. If they do so, then again, only the top two teams progress. So Guatemala and Jamaica would be in pole position before what would be a critical game on Tuesday between the Dominican Republic and the British Virgin Islands. The winner of that game, if there is one, of course, if Jamaica were to win tomorrow, a lot of ifs there, but if you followed along, the winner would have the best chance of staying alive at the end of this window in Group E. So again, that would put Guatemala on 6 points, pending the last 10 minutes here, and then if Jamaica can take care of business tomorrow, that game on Tuesday is going to have quite a bit riding on it. Of course, if Dominica pull off a shock tomorrow, we're having a totally different discussion. Then that second spot would be very, very vulnerable. Pinto. Up ahead from Morales, it's cut out. Escobar. It's going to be recycled by the captain as Hagen joins in. Samayoa. Down the line it goes. Ardone into the penalty area. Wonderful touch by Morales. He tried to play it back across, and in the end, Guatemala win a corner after it was pretty well defended by Christian Javier. And now there's a player down for the hosts. From the corner, at the back post again, Scarf, brilliantly done defensively. Wins the header, wins a free kick. He picked up a bump and a bruise for his trouble, but it's really, really stout defensive work. He's been another one of the bright spots for British Virgin Islands with his play today. Another look. It's a real chance there from Martinez, but again, Scarf gets there ahead of him to win the header and to give his team an opportunity to reset. He will be looked after on this near side. So for a brief moment or two, the British Virgin Islands will be down to 10. Escobar. They play it down the near side. It's a Guatemala throw. Should mention that Guatemala have used all 5 of their substitutions. The British Virgin Islands do have 1 remaining, should they choose to use it, with 7 minutes plus stoppage time to play in Road Town. Altan to Mejia. It's clever. Back across, looking for Escobar. Scarf came back on and was able to help out defensively. It's flared back in again, and it's cleared away by Javier. Older Escobar was in a really good patch of space. But again, the British Virgin Islands defend it. And more defending to do here as Morales bends one in. Caught by Beckles. Dominguez. Ball's going to be recycled back to Hagen. Ardone. Tried to poke it ahead. Chalwell tried to follow up. Ooh, and he might be hurt. Guatemala go back the other way. Martinez. Scarf is there again. More wonderful defending from him. A little bit of a concern, though, for Luca Chalwell, who's being stretched out as we speak. I think that will halt a potential corner, at least for the time being. Talked about earlier how Guatemala, when they get going, can wear teams down. But again, British Virgin Islands should be commended with the way they have fought throughout the match. A bit unlucky not to have scored. Guatemala have really been up for it. They've certainly, to this point, taken care of the business. And we talked about British Virgin Islands have one substitution available. They will use it. And they'll use it to bring on Jaden Abrams. And that will be it for Luca Chalwell. That is the last substitution for either side. And a tough way to end the afternoon for Luca Chalwell, who did have some bright and positive moments. Morales back to Mejia. It's clever. Good ball across. Not quite able to get the header on it. Samayoa follows up. Faint handball appeals, nothing doing. Altan back across. Wonderful service, but Pinto and company didn't react quickly enough. If they had, it would have been a tap-in. Can't bend the ball into the penalty area much better than that last cross from Pedro Altan. And you see there the recap of the goal scorers. Castellanos got it started with a firecracker of a volley. Rubin and Pinto scoring on either side of halftime. That's where we stand. Altan, great ball in, and there's a fourth. But the flag goes up again, this time against Carlos Mejia. We saw a fourth goal ruled out off the body of Rubin that may very well have been onside. Another look at this one. Altan, oh, he's onside. That one should have counted. That one was much more definitive even than the Rubin one. Now that's a bit unfortunate for Guatemala. Could have had one, possibly two more, if not for the assistance flag. Again, no VAR for those just tuning in, so no way of looking back at it. It is down to the on-field decision. It's one of those, again, in a group stage where goal differential matters. Do have to get those right, I must say. However, doesn't change the fact that Guatemala are going to win the match. Another ball bent in. Morales. Oh, it nearly fell for Mejia a second time, just behind him. Williams the other way for the British Virgin Islands. Samayoa is there. Gallimore down the far side for Green. And again, Samayoa closes him down. Mejia. Good run. Ardone tried to cross it into the middle. And it looks like the flag has gone up again for offside against Guatemala. It's a free kick for the hosts as we are into the 90th minute. Beckles descended ahead. Dominguez allows Guatemala to again have an opportunity to move forward in possession. Here's Escobar. Take us into injury time. At the end of this one, Morales. There's the confirmation of 4 added minutes. 4 minutes away from Guatemala, getting 6 points out of 6 from this World Cup qualifying window. It's kept alive for a shot. It's a wicked ricochet. And Guatemala will have yet another corner. Mejia. Bends the ball in. Samayoa's header. Right into a dangerous area, but the British Virgin Islands had it covered. Chance up the other end. Dominguez fighting for possession. Wins the ball off of Lacey, who tried to break free. Martinez up the other end. Back heel for Morales, who's able to get past the scarf challenge. Into the middle it goes, cleared by Williams. Castellano for Pedro Altan. And a chance to shoot for Martinez, but he took too much time and loses out. Gallimore. To the near side, Javier. Tried to thread the needle. Sends it right to Hagen for a refresh. Morales. Dominguez. Can Guatemala put an exclamation point on a strong performance here in the British Virgin Islands? Dominguez. Altan is in! Oh, and he drags it wide, and there was a chance for Ardone on the doorstep. It flashed past him. Now more signs of the quality attacking play we've seen throughout the 90 minutes. Certainly, Jose Ardone would have been deserving of getting on the score sheet. Altan had a chance to score himself. In the end, the chance goes begging. Altan clearly onside. Ardone was clearly onside as well, just could not get on the end of it. And Altan, I think, is trying to shoot here. He drags it wide, and Ardone just a step behind. Final minute of proceedings here. Mejia. He's gonna get this back from Martinez. Mejia to Altan, good block. Rebound is wide. Tough to tell who blocked it. It was a sea of defenders. But Altan is thwarted. There was a brief chance on the rebound, but Beckles knew it was gonna go wide of the target. Oh, and a yellow card is gonna come out here to Frankie Beckles for time wasting. That's a bit peculiar. There's the chance from Altan. It was either Scarf or his own teammate Martinez who blocked it. Wouldn't have been surprised if Scarf was able to do that. He's been so good today. Beckles confirmed for the booking for time waste. He had to go get the ball, to be fair to him. That might have been a bit harsh. There was no ball boy or girl at that end of the pitch. It's a free kick for the British Virgin Islands here. And that ends the match here in the British Virgin Islands. A very convincing performance from Guatemala here as they take down the hosts by 3-0. 3 different goal scorers along the way. And Guatemala are a perfect 6 points out of 6 from their first 2 matches here in Group E of this second round of Concacaf World Cup qualifying. They finished this window with not just 6 points, but a +9 goal differential, and they are firmly in first place in the group. Luis Tena will be very happy with the way his team has handled these first 2 games in the group. But of course, spare a thought for the British Virgin Islands, their first round 2 match. They fought valiantly and had chances to score themselves. Great defensive moments throughout. They'll have a chance to rebound on Tuesday when they take on the Dominican Republic in a critical group stage match in this very same group. It's so funny how sports can be at times. History can tend to repeat itself. When these 2 teams met in March of 2021, it was a 3-0 Guatemala victory. Could have been more today, to be fair, but it does finish by the very same scoreline. Guatemala wins by 3-0, and they will be in pole position when this group reconvenes for more World Cup qualifying. Sean St. Jacques back here with you one more time before we leave you for the afternoon, as we have a chance to recap the match between the British Virgin Islands and Guatemala. Again, it's Group E play, second round of Concacaf World Cup qualifying on the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup to be played in the US, Mexico, and Canada. This was a match where Guatemala certainly lived up to the billing. They were heavy favorites coming in, and they certainly got off to a blistering start. Big opportunities inside of the first 10 minutes, but give credit to the likes of Frankie Beckles in that defense for the British Virgin Islands. They did so well to hold off great Guatemalan attacks. That was probably the best save of the match from either goalkeeper, from Beckles, but then the moment from Oscar Castellanos with a wonderful volley. Can't hit them much better than that. It set up beautifully for him. And in the 23rd minute, Guatemala had a 1-0 lead with a firecracker of a strike. thoroughly deserved. And then, to be fair, the British Virgin Islands nearly equalized before we got to first half stoppage time. And then wonderful team goal here. Ardone finding Rubin after a wonderful ball played in by Morales. That gave Guatemala their 2-0 lead going into the first half break. Rubin almost scored a couple more, but it was Jose Pinto who would convert from the penalty spot at the start of the second half after a handball on a shot from Mendez Lang. The captain stepping up and giving Guatemala a 3-0 lead, one that we know they would not relinquish throughout. Guatemala could have had a few more, to be fair, but good saves from Beckles, good defensive moments. There's the Pinto penalty again. To be fair, a couple of goals ruled out for offside where Guatemala had a case. Rubio Rubin with one, and then Mejia with the other. Could have been 4 or 5. It's just the 3, just like it was in March of 2021. The second meeting is very much similar to the first. Luis Tena, the happier of the two managers, and Guatemala finished the window with 6 points out of 6 and a +9 goal differential. For our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from the British Virgin Islands. It's a 3-0 Guatemala win, and they are at the top of Group E.